Hey everybody, welcome to my Suburban Oasis. My name's Soleil and I garden in a Zone 5B in mid-Michigan. Welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about some clearance plants that I have. Actually, we're going to be planting them in the ground because I want to get them out of their cans. We're going to have some decent weather. Tonight we have about a 50% chance of rain, and I'm really praying for it. You guys do a little rain dance, see if we can get some rain because it has been really dry here. And the temperatures are going to go up to the high 90s this week. So let's get some rain because this hibiscus is going to need it. This is a herbaceous one that dies back to the ground every year, but it's a perennial and it will have beautiful dinner plate sized blooms on it. This one is called the Evening Rose Hibiscus, and next to that we have a white wine's Veronica. And then right behind me, we have the gorgeous Seven Sunflower, and this one is also referred to as the Tianshan. So we've got quite a few clearance plants that are from the video that I just did most recently, and we're going to get them in the ground. Let's go. Alright, we're going to try to plant this New Dimension Rose Salvia into the spot where this little begonia is. So we're just going to move the little begonia out. I've got my little handy dandy hoary knife here. I'm actually interested to see just how dry my soil is as I'm digging in it, because it has been so dry here. It doesn't look too bad. I have been watering, and it's really good to water less often but deeper so that your roots can really get down deep into the soil. It helps them get established, because if you water more frequently and with less water, your roots will remain shallow because the water will be up at the top of the soil for them to gather. Right now I'm just moving the mulch away from the area that I'm going to plant in, so that I can continue to have plenty of mulch around this plant after it goes in the ground. I have really heavy clay soil in this area, and this bed is a fairly new bed. It's a no-dig bed, so the worms are really just starting to work the soil and all of the mulch down into the soil to make it better. So whenever I dig in it, I try to mix just a teeny bit of the mulch in with the soil. Not a lot, because you don't want an anaerobic situation where the mulch doesn't continue to break down, but just enough to make sure that I'm getting a little bit of organic material down into that clay soil so that it can help with drainage. Salvias do like good drainage. They don't like to sit in water. And that's one of the reasons why I like them so much, because they do well even in really dry and hot weather. So this bed I have symmetrically planted, so we're going to do another one on the other end of the bed, but we're just going to make our way around this half moon and plant the individual plants, and then we'll show you what it all looks like when we're done. Let's get on to the next one. Next step, we're going to plant this creeping flax. This is the Drummond pink flax. And I have several of these planted in this bed already, which I had also gotten on clearance, and they're doing really well. So I just wanted to add some more to help cover up the ground. So this is that kind of hard clay soil that we deal with in this bed. Literally turns into like concrete if it dries out. It's pretty horrible. But the good thing about clay soil is that it has lots of nutrients and really good stuff for your plants. So try not to be too discouraged about it. Add some organic material. Amend whenever you can with some compost or mulch. And that will help to break it up over time. So you can see I'm just kind of trying to crumble it up and ensure that it's nice and loose. Also in clay soil, it can help if you dig your hole a little bit bigger than your root ball, and that way there's a little bit of loose soil around the roots as it starts trying to grow. which gives your plant a little bit more of a fighting chance. And this one is a little bit tough roots on the bottom, so I'm just going to break them up a little bit. Even though it's going to rain tonight, I'll probably also give these all a really good soak. In fact, I don't know about you, but I am a little bit superstitious in that I feel like if I water plants, it's more likely that it's actually going to rain. All right, I have another salvia that's back here, but you can't see that right now. So we're going to go ahead and plant this one, and then we'll come around and plant the other one. This is another drum and pink flax that we're going to plant in here. See, this soil is really dry here. Maybe a little bit moisture down a little deeper. And we're just going to break those clumps of soil up. The roots on these are coming right out the bottom, so I'm just going to break those roots off to get it out. And it is quite root bound, so I'll actually just pull those right off. That'll encourage the roots to start growing out instead of around in circles at the bottom. Looking good. Let's plant this Dianthus that's back over here. This is one of the early bird fizzy Dianthus, and I think that it already looks much better than it did. It's already putting out a bloom. So ready for planting. I like Dianthus because they also do really well in the heat and can tolerate dry soil as well. I have an old stem from a kale plant right here. We'll get that out of the ground. The soil looks pretty good in this area, but it's very dry. The other thing I like about Dianthus is that they have a pretty continuous bloom season, so these are going to be really pretty. In this corner, we're going to plant another New Dimension Rose Salvia, and the reason why I'm going to do this is because it's going to allow some repetition really well throughout this bed. So you're going to see that kind of in the corners out front and then in the corners on the inside, and it's just kind of give that base color to this whole garden bed. A design tip when you're doing gardens is to use repetition. Repetition of color is one way to do that. It really helps with drawing your eye from one part of the bed into another, or along from one bed to another. I'm actually just going to take some of these big clumps of clay soil out of here because because I don't think we need all of it to go back in. This bed also needs a little stabilization around the edges because it is slightly raised up above the concrete. So the roots will help to begin to continue to hold this in place better. Okay, so we're going to move on now to this Red Riding Hood Penstemon, which is absolutely gorgeous, but it's a little bit bigger container, so I'm going to use an actual shovel. We're going to give this a shot. I haven't done much shoveling since my surgery, just a little bit. This soil sure is dusty. All right, I think that's enough. Let's get this plant in. For those of you who may be wondering, the shovel that I was just using is called the Root Slayer Perennial Shovel. It is my favorite shovel, hands down. It has amazing serrated edges that slice right through the soil, which is absolutely fantastic and so helpful. Makes it a lot easier to do shoveling. I'm trying to decide if I need to dig it a little deeper. I want to make sure I don't bury the crown of this plant, but I think I need a little bit more. It's always tough when planting on an angle, but the rule of thumb is to make sure that the top of the plant is not lower than the highest part on your slope. So the front of your plant might actually stick up a little bit higher, but the back of your plant should be even. That's what we're doing right here. I think that looks good. I'm just taking out some of these clumps of clay here. And that will actually go right into my compost bin. I'll break it up a little bit into my compost bin, and that will then provide some nutrients with my compost as well. So there'll be minerals and different types of biological material that also helps to break down the compost a little bit. All right, enough talking. I'm about halfway through. We're on the pincushion plant, so the rest of the plants are going to be the same ones that I planted after this one, just on the opposite side of the bed. So let's give you guys some music and you can just sit back, relax, and watch me plant. Now it's time to get watering. Well guys, I'm really excited about how this project turned out today. So I think that the two salvia, I've got one that I just planted here, is going to look really nice and fill in alongside of this one. And then probably my favorite addition to the bed right now is going to be these Dianthus on this other side to give me a little bit more blooming right here. And then I'm really loving the way, and I hope that the color picks up on this camera, the way that that Penstemon, the Red Riding Hood Penstemon looks, just kind of between these plants. It's so beautiful. Just a really nice pop of lovely color there. And the Flax is going to fill in really nicely as well, all around in this bed. So that's going to be great. I also do have some plans to add some of this burgundy glowajuga on the other side. But yeah, I'm real happy with the way this turned out today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me plant and getting some ideas about ways to incorporate new plants into your garden beds, as well as thinking about how to make your clay soil a little bit better over time. Thanks so much for joining me today. We'll see you next time. Bye.